The DSP. As always, I'm your host, Josh. Tonight's guest, I've gotten the honor of playing with this guy a few times this season. I think I played you once or twice last season.
Yeah.
And definitely in the off season at Five Below.
Yes, sir.
So I will let my guest introduce himself. I actually know where he's from, but maybe not a lot of other people know where he's from. So he'll let you know where he's from and how he even got into disc golf.
So, hey guys, my name's Joe Zadak. Thank you, Josh, for having me on. Like Josh said, me and him have seen each other at some tournaments. We've been on the same cards, whether it was a doubles, a singles, and he kind of put out on his podcast this year, like, hey, does anyone maybe want to get on? I'm like, I thought that was a cool opportunity to talk about a sport that I really like and introduce more people that I see every day. But how I got introduced kind of into disc golf, I'm from the Clarence and Williamsville area. So the only course that's like really close to me is Como. As everyone knows who knows this area, Como is one of the more challenging courses, definitely an RIP to disc kind of course. So wasn't the first course I played. The first course I played was actually ECP, Ellicott Creek Park. My one friend brought me there, gave me a few discs. I'm pretty sure I still have the video of him recording my first throw. Oof, come a long way since then. But started playing. ECP was really cool introductory kind of beginner kind of course. And just from there, I always fell in love. So besides like basketball, which was like my sport growing up, frisbee golf, definitely a main sport now for me.
That's pretty cool. When did you pick up disc golf? Was it like after high school or while you were still in high school?
Yeah, so to be honest, I never even heard about it till after high school. I graduated in 2017. I'd say right when my friend brought me was during COVID, a little bit after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It was the fall of like 2020. And my friend was just like, hey, let's go out, try this. I'm like, I've never heard about it before. And then play a little because I'm really bad at golf. Like I'm really, really bad at golf. So I thought it was more like kind of like that. But then I played, I'm like, oh, this is, as long as I can throw a frisbee, I'm kind of cool. So the more and more I played, the more and more I wanted to get better, and it just went a long way. So
yeah, we started about the same time because I think I started in the fall of 2020 as well. So that's pretty cool.
And now I've gotten at least 4 or 5 more people into it. A couple during that time, that 2020 period, and then a couple after, and a couple friends that maybe played more during their college came back to Buff once they were done there, and then we started playing and became better friends because of it. So a couple of friends like that too.
That's pretty cool. So do you play more on like the competitive side, like sanctioned and unsanctioned, or do you find yourself playing more casual rounds?
So I'd say I'm definitely a casual player. Don't have a PDGA number. I know I usually bring that up at tourneys when I'm like, oh, I'm going MA2, and I'm like the only guy in a singles without a PDGA. Just started tourneys 3 years ago, but that first year was like I only did like 1. Last year I started to do like 4 or 5, and then this year kind of the same. I've just been really busy with life stuff. 4 or 5 singles tournaments, and then I have those couple friends. I'd say 2 of them that me and him do doubles. So you'll see me and him at one of them next week, and then the other friend I do it with in 2 weeks. They're doing that one doubles tournament at Diamond Hawk where you get like golf carts and all that. So
yeah,
I was only gonna do one more, and then I saw that one, and me and him were like, okay, we got to do that one too. But yeah, I'm definitely more of a casual player, even though since I've been progressing more, at ECP, that Tuesday, Thursday men's league, that's kind of where like I ran to a group there one day when I was just practicing by myself, and they're like, yo, you don't do none of this league stuff, none of these tournament stuff, you should try it. And that's 3 years ago kind of when I started a group at one of those leagues at ECP telling me to do it. I go on like the PDGA website, I look at like the rankings and how it's kind of, what you should be able to do in this division. I'm like, MA2 looks like what I should kind of be able to do. So I just kind of stuck with that and been in that ever since the last couple of years. But I'm definitely trying to evolve a little bit more in the next coming years.
So what's it going to take to get you over to the sanctioned world?
I think just progressing my game, getting more confident in myself, getting more out there and wanting to do tournaments, leagues, everything like that. And then I know this year I've just been really busy with some personal stuff, getting a new place, everything like that, and making all those arrangements out, some of that. And then making sure during the summer I have the free time. But I definitely think in the next coming years, I definitely be more willing to do some of this stuff. And I know I'm in and out of the community, meeting more and more people just makes me want to do it more and more. So.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So out of all the courses that you've played so far, what has been your favorite course?
So there's a lot. Like I always kind of put them into like tiers or sections. Like I'm like, oh, I go to Lincoln, Pinewoods, or ECP if I want to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna go to like Como, Chestnut, Emory, Bond Lake if I'm like, okay, I'm feeling really good. I want to practice distance and like lines and things like that. Then there's the ones I've met more this year, the Outwaters, the Gasports, the Beaver Islands, the Hawks Landings, more specialty courses. In my opinion, I would say my favorite personally is Chestnut. I really wish they would do more tournaments and leagues there. I rarely see anything at Chestnut. I think that would make up a lot. Also, this year, I just got back about a month or so ago from Oregon. I was in Bend, Oregon. Me and my one friend that actually showed me the ECP the first time, we went out and played a course there called Pine Nursery. And besides Chestnut, that's definitely up there for me as one of my favorite froth courses I've ever played out in Bend, Oregon. But I usually try these last couple years when I take trips to play, like I did in Dallas. I did out in Oregon this year. I always bring like a couple discs on the plane with me. I'm like, you never know. And I knew this year in Oregon I would, but I just
Yeah,
throw them in my bag just in case.
that's really cool. Have you gotten out to Rochester yet to try out like Chili, Shadow Pines, or
So
anything like
yeah,
that?
last year me and my they do I think it was Sanborn maybe or something with an S. That one that you said Shadow Pines as well. They
Yeah.
do the glow random draw doubles. So me and my friend went out there last year and did a random draw glow doubles. My first time doing any glow event. I kind of had to figure. I brought a flashlight, and these people are like, "What the heck are you doing, dude?" I'm like, "Okay, I gotta put a stick." They gave me like the stickers, and I luminescent. She had one disc that I didn't even know glue up, and then I did it, and I was like, "Okay, here we go." So only time I've been in Rochester last year for that, but one time, yes, I've been over there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So speaking of discs, what's in your bag this year? Are you like a single manufacturer, like just Discraft or just MVP or Trilogy, or are you just open bag with everything?
Yeah, so I'm just an open bag type of player. I don't think I've ever been like, oh, I want like a whole lineup of this. Yes, I have my certain copies of certain discs from a certain brand where I'm like, if I lose that one, I'm going right to that website or Amazon or any disc golf shop, Spartan, whatnot, and I'm buying it right back up. But for me, like how I started disc golf was just like my friend giving me 5 random discs and having to know those discs and
Mhm.
evolving from that. Ever since I've gotten better, I've always just been like, oh, I know at this course I'm gonna have to hit this line, these types of lines, and as long as I can get discs that I vibe with or I just think are really cool, and then they throw like how I know they should, depending on how I want them to go, I kind of just run it all that. So for me, I'm more of an open bag type of player where I just try to get a disc for every single type of maybe situation or line that maybe I'll see out on course. That's kind of how I think of it.
Yeah. So what's your favorite disc to lean on? Like if you just come out to just a open hole and you're like, oh, I get to throw this disc. Like
Yeah,
what's that one?
I would definitely say one of my Corvettes for sure. Just a high speed driver that I can put pretty flat. It'll fade out just a little bit with -1. It's a true -1, and that's definitely my farthest throwing disc. Like my max range probably like 400 to 415 if I'm throwing really good on a day, really accurately. That's the farthest I've ever recorded it at Como on some shots. I would say that, or I have this little, just a Thunderbird. So I do like those stable-ish kind of discs. I can really just, and people that haven't seen my form, I'm a backhand thrower. So I do like to put power behind my shots that can hold a stable line and then kind of just fade out a little bit left.
Yeah. We gotta get you going on forehand eventually.
We're getting there. I really I'm getting better with my approaches, but I'm trying to someday, definitely next year is something in the off season. I'm looking forward to getting my forehand closer to my backhand, at least in distance and accuracy.
Yeah. Because that'll definitely open up a lot
Yeah.
of options out on course for you. Yeah. So what's been like your biggest like highlight of the season so far this year? because I'm not sure if you're still in, like if you still have you still have a couple more tournaments left. But so what's been the biggest like? Oh my God, this has been like the coolest thing ever.
So for me, that's another reason, like when we talk about, hey, I want to do more tournaments, more sanctioned events, because of moments that maybe like this that can be put into. For me, these last 3 or 4 years, I've gotten an ace every single year.
Ooh.
This year, I've gotten my fifth ace. It was at the new hole 2 at Pinewoods, which is like it's a 300-foot
Yep.
kind of dog, not forehand. I do the kind of backhand. There's these 2 trees to the right. I shoot it through that gap. It skipped in. I was with my one friend who I kind of just started bringing more recently, and he was like, "Holy frick, that was really cool." So just kind of something like that. I would say if I got first at a tourney, I would have said that. I've gotten second or any other position at a tourney, but I haven't cracked first yet. That's kind of when I'm waiting to maybe move up from MA2 if I ever do that. But I would say also because I haven't had that doubles tournament with the golf carts in 2 weeks, I really think that could be a highlight of my season just because, one, I've always been like, why don't golf carts like incorporate with froth like ever? I
Yeah.
think that'll be a really cool event, seeing a lot of people at a golf course. I've never been to Diamond Hawk either. So I think just that atmosphere, the Halloween vibes, the fall vibes, the Bills vibes, everything that's going to be incorporated in that event could be my new answer in a couple of weeks. But I'd say for now, it's that fifth ace I got. That was actually, I got it in May, early May this year. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool when they convert like golf courses into disc golf courses for
yeah.
tournaments. It's a blast.
The only thing I don't like are those black uh, baskets sometimes they use. You really got to be on top of your stuff with your putting,
Oh, the
or you
black
are
hole
missing.
throws?
Yeah, or you're missing that putt. You got to be on top of this. That's the only thing I
That's
say.
that's my practice bass. I love those. I
Yeah,
hate the project like the ones at Bond, like they drive me nuts. They
yeah.
like, kill my putt. They kick it out all the time. Like, oh my God.
R.I.P. And I definitely have a basket where my friend got me last year for my birthday. You know, I have one of those kick up baskets. It's not exactly the same as the black ones that we're talking about,
Yeah.
but it's more like smaller. So it
Hmm.
makes me have to stay on top of my putting. That's
Yeah.
definitely something from last year to this year. And into next year, I want to just keep working on because putting is, for me, like I relate it to basketball and like free throws a little bit. I always had a certain like form and stance I use, so I try to relate that to putting a little bit, at least in the circle. Out of circle, I change it up a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's definitely something that one of the hardest parts for me to stay consistent in my game.
Yeah. That was an issue that I had today at the tournament out at Sunkiss Hill. Hole 2, I had it like uh 25-foot putt for bird. I had it parked, and I looked at it, and the hill behind the basket it just drops, and I was like, oh, I should probably lay up for this, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go for it. I
Might as
airballed
well.
it all the way down the hill.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. Yeah,
It
putting
reminds
is
me of that one like
huge.
Beaver Island. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do to practice your putting to make sure that you're on top of it? Like what drills do you do?
Yeah, so for me, especially after I got that practice basket, and I moved out to a place that actually had like a school and a football field kind of right behind it. I've definitely incorporated more going out, whether it's with my parents, who I know we'll talk about in a little bit. They come out with me and help me practice a little bit. I don't know if I've set drills, but I've definitely watched some of the videos from some of my favorite current pro players. I think Gannon Burgess, obviously he's number one in the world. Everyone knows how good he is, but his putting is like, you watch him putt and you're just like, this dude's on another. That's how he wins so many of these tournaments, whether it's the types of putt he makes, the consistency, the distance, the one-legged weirdness of his putts.
Yeah.
At least in that part of pro players, I've idolized his putting. And I like that he's very active on social media, makes YouTube videos. So I definitely am trying to take a lot from his videos along with some of my other favorite players I watch, whether it's Wysocki, Macbeth. Not going to ruin any highlights from that tournament that's happening this weekend. I still have to watch some of the highlights of the final round.
Yeah.
But definitely take some of their stuff, and then I just go out, and it's kind of like basketball to me. I start close. I get further and further out into the circle. I'm like, I have to end on 2 for 2, 3 for 3. I can't leave, even if it's dark out. My mom hates me for that sometimes. But that's kind of how I do it. And then obviously I go out with my friends as much as possible and switch up the situations. Like, oh, if we miss this, this person gets a punishment maybe, or this we have to both make it in a doubles like practice round, something like that, just to keep it
Yeah.
competitive.
So, like, where's your comfort zone? Like, are you comfortable? Like, let's say you're 25 feet out. Are you comfortable there, or is your comfort zone around like 20 to 15 feet?
Yeah, like definitely anything 20 feet and in. That's why I really want to. One big thing from tournaments is I always had a little bit of a step putt initially. So one of my first my first singles tournament was at Como. Maybe I should have done it at Como too. But Kevin Keel was on my
Yep.
card. Mike Cascano was on my card. The Cascano brothers. Kevin, obviously the Spartan kind of founder, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be
Yep.
adamant about this, but in the circle, it's like you got to stay like balanced. You got to stay firm, not move a foot." So I've really been working over these last couple of years to get that as uptight and consistent as possible. And I've definitely gotten better at not moving off, at least in the circle. I always ask when it's like that 30, 35-foot range, oh, can I take a step? Because I'm very comfortable with that 30, like right outside the circle where I can take a step putt. But then that I'm just inching out that last like 10 feet, the 20 to 30 range. It's not like I'm uncomfortable with it. It's just not as consistent as 20 feet and in, and then even let's say 35 to 45, I'd say, at least with my accuracy.
Yeah. Now, since you play basketball, are you comfortable with doing straddle putts, or does that still feel very
Yeah,
awkward
so
to you?
for a while when I was really fine tuning my form, I used to go all straddle for a bit. And now it's kind of more if I just have to, like, oh, I have to go around this tree. This is in my way. I don't do it as my true form all the time. But for a bit, I
Yep.
definitely did it. It's pretty accurate, at least when I have to. But I'm definitely not uncomfortable having to do it, just in certain situations when I'm forced to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something that I gotta get better at. Because anytime I got a straddle putt, it's like, oh, good lord,
Yeah,
I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I feel so
right. It's
uncoordinated.
definitely different just getting that power stance. And with putting, I've always just thought of that sway of my body. So especially with a straddle, Andrew Marweed kind of does it. He does it really good, like that down through his legs, and then he gets that kind of propulsion force on it. So another player who's really good at putting that. At least his staggered stance is really good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So speaking of your parents, all right, so we'll jump to this one because I during tournaments I got the pleasure of
Yep.
like having your parents there, and I've always encouraged them to be closer, like because they stay way back. I always
Yeah,
encourage them, you guys can come closer, you
for
guys can
sure.
hear what we're talking about and the decisions that we're making. Um, so what is it like having your parents at tournaments? Does it sometimes add pressure, or do they keep you level headed after you kind of like have
Yeah,
a
so
wall
it's
point?
funny, at least that first comment. Like, yeah, they know in a singles tournament, we've been in so like now over 3 years, they're comfortable in the setting. At first, they're like, "Oh, we don't want to say anything because no one else has anybody." Usually, for the most part, maybe they'll have like a
Yeah.
significant other here and there or something, but usually, like I'm the only one that has like, "Oh, my parents are coming and watching," and they just try to make not as much noise, or we'll be giggling about something even that's not inside the game. For the second part of the question, the pressure and everything, I would say it doesn't ever really add pressure to me. I'm an only child, so my parents and me really close my whole life. Like I said, growing up, basketball was my main thing. I did everything throughout high school. I did travel leagues, AAU, UIBL stuff, and they were always at all my games, especially in basketball. Obviously, when a whole court of people are there in those travel kind of settings, I've gotten used to at least being in pressure situations. So added pressure, no.
Hmm.
Do I feel disappointed when I don't play up to how I think I can in front of them? Yes, but I don't think I just really like being there with them. I know they like being there for me and supporting me. So I just try to play as good as I can for them and for anyone else watching. So I really like having them around.
That's pretty cool. So do they like fully understand like everything that's going on where they can give you advice like, hey, I see this, you should probably like attack the hole this way instead of what you're thinking?
No, but they can't be like, oh, you should have put a little more anhyzer on that around that tree right there, maybe a little different disc, or they not something like that. But similar to basketball, they've seen so many basketball games with me, whether it's I'm watching my favorite team on TV or I'm playing. Same thing for frisbee golf. They see me watch these highlights of these players, or they see so many situations, and I'll explain it to them. They have a general idea of like how, oh, this disc
Hmm.
maybe flips this way, or the wind's coming, so it's gonna overtake an understable disc and take it more to this one side, or different things like that. They'll just be like, oh, take that extra second, do what you do. We know you've done this a million times. Most of these courses I usually try and practice before a tournament too. So they just instill that confidence in me. Be like, hey, better luck next time. And like basketball, I've always been like a shooter in basketball. So they're like, you miss a shot, you move on, just go on to the next hole. I don't try to domino effect when I make a mistake. And that's something I'm still trying to get better
Yeah.
with, at least in the froth tournament. Some tournaments, some rounds, I usually have one really good round, and then I'll have one round where it's like, couple mistakes that piled up, and then I'm kind of middle of the pack or bottom. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something I gotta work on is stop the snowball effect. Is because like I'll have a bad hole and then I let
yeah,
just keep piling. It's like, oh my god, it's just like I gotta stop
yeah.
doing
Frisbee
that.
golf, just like golf, just so punishing. I would say even more punishing than like
Yeah.
basketball. Basketball, at least I can get back, play defense, rely on that, or our team is with me. And a single person kind of sport like this, especially at a singles tournament, not doubles, when you have your partner to back you up if you miss or mess up a shot. It's just keeping that confidence, knowing what you put the work in, and trying your best. So
Yeah. So have you ever like played around with your parents where you actually like allowed them
yeah,
to
so
throw?
I brought them out. I'd say the courses they've liked or could have played the most, because their arms they can't be throwing 300-foot, 400-foot hyzer shots. I joke around with them a little bit on that. Pinewoods is a good one. Hawks Landing was a good one, just because it's technical and kind of specially made, but they're all short holes in the sense. Or whenever I get maybe
Yeah.
into the circle, I'll be like, hey, make this putt for me, and we'll have a little battle with that. I've never seen them really drive. I don't need them to rip their shoulders out. But when it
Yeah.
comes to maybe a little approach shots or definitely putting shots, then that's when we get into it a little bit more and we can have some fun with that.
That's pretty cool. That's like a nice family
Right?
bonding
It
right
doesn't
there.
hurt to get out, and that's something hopefully in the future for me I can bring out if I ever have a kid to the course and like, show them some stuff and
Yeah.
just if they want to do it, I have the info and knowledge to help them. So
Have you taken them to bond, not to play, but for them to like see
yeah.
what bond is and get the
So
feel of
last
everything?
year we didn't go this year. Last year I had two tournaments there. One was on my birthday. It was like the Squala. Squala did a couple. They
Yep.
canceled those this year. I was going to do it again. And there was that not the October. There was one in October too, at Bond Lake, the Autumn Classic. I
Audubon
think it was
Classic,
that
ABC.
last year. And yeah, we went to Bond. That was the most intense course because up till then I've only brought them to like Ellicott, Pinewoods, Como, and even Como it's long, but it's pretty flat. Bond, you start right
Yeah.
at Bond hole one, then you get to hole six, and it's like up and down and up and down. And that's like my dad was fine with it. We did Boy Scouts, so we hiked, done everything like that. So elevation stuff, but just the scenery. My mom was like, "Wow, these froth courses are really in depth, and especially a course like Bond." I want to bring them to Emory too, because Emory is one of those ones kind of similar to that, where the technicality,
Yeah.
it really puts angle control, distance control, knowing ins and outs of certain things to really fine tune and be good at certain holes at those courses.
Yeah, I would definitely take your parents out to Sunkiss Hill as well. It's a very good scenic course. The
How
scenery
far
is
away is that
amazing.
from like Buffalo?
It's in Colden, New York, so it was like about a
Yeah, it's
40
not.
minute
So yeah, it's like
drive.
me going to Emory basically. That's not bad.
Yeah, wasn't too bad. So yeah, definitely. I mean, some of those like when you're looking off the tee pad out to the open and you could just see like
Yeah.
trees and everything for like miles. It's
Yeah, there was when I
amazing.
went to Oregon, that one course just totally different than here, just the landscape of it with like rocks and there was a lot of volcanoes and national forests in Oregon that were incorporated into some of their disc golf. So one course that we played was in the middle of like a national forest. Granted, every hole was kind of the same, but it was cool playing like with ponderosa pines and things like that. And the one we went zip lining at this one a mountain, Mount Bachelor, and they said they used to have a froth course there, but it was like kind of dangerous because you could just throw these shots and you would need a spotter or someone to go run out and get them if they fall off the mountain if you missed like a putt, a shot. So they just kind of got rid of the course because I guess it was just like dangerous for everybody. You're losing disc every time. So
Yeah. So do you, you obviously watch coverage. So do you watch more like live or post? And do you watch more MPO or the
So
FPO?
I definitely watch more just like of the highlights and stuff after. It's hard for me to watch it like during. I'll pop it on YouTube sometimes and be like, oh, that's going on. I'll check it. Then like I love Joe Miss Pro. That was probably the number one channel that kind of got me into learning more about and developing my game. You know, like those guys like Big Germ and the guy and Sexton and all of them that make that show. They go over the practice, they make videos, they bring on everybody from the scene. I definitely watch both MPO and FPO. I'd say I follow and watch more FPO on like Instagram. I think a lot of those girls do a lot more social media stuff. Like there's this girl that went to Oregon that was like a track star. She's like really good with like social media. And a couple girls that are like related to her. I know I like Owen Coggins. Her, she's really good.
Yep.
And Paige Pierce, I've always liked for a bit too. And then for MPO, I like some of the OGs that are like the goats, you know, like Ricky Wysocki and Paul McBeth. But like I talked about a little bit already, I really do like Gannon Game 9 because he's just number one, just because of his consistency and just like his drive. And he always,
Yeah.
you can just tell he's just locked in all the time. A couple other guys like Heimbergs, the Barellas. I know some people around here; those are their favorites as well. So definitely watch a little bit of both. And I love those disc off kind of scene videos after every tournament that highlights the round. I'll watch it with my parents, and they'll be like, "Do they ever miss putts?" I'm like, "These are highlights." So yes, they do miss putts, but these are like, but it
Yeah.
is cool to see, especially like a couple like Ricky's one of them. I love just his energy, the Raptor legs, the vibe he brings to the crowd, things like that remind me of like basketball and making like
Yeah.
a big shot and like bringing that energy to your team or yourself. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So, did you hit all your goals that you had set for yourself at the beginning of this season?
yes and no. I've always said like I want to win a tournament. Obviously, there's factors that go into that. That was one of my goals. A lot of my other goals, like improving my putting consistency, improving my forehand accuracy and consistency, different things like this I have achieved, and my friends have commented on it, me getting better in these areas. I'd say besides winning the tournament, yes, I have followed a lot of my goals, my game this season. I hope to keep developing those in the next couple of years, especially over the winter. I'm a player that likes to get out in the winter. Like you said, I've seen you at some of those Five Below events. I went to that one.
Yeah.
There was a tournament at Pinewoods last year where I got those winter wizards, the putters. So just little things like that. I will definitely. I'm one of those people that my friends call me crazy. I'll go out as long as it's not too crazy, like a blizzard out, and I'll get a little work in if I want to. But beside, yeah, I do hopefully next year want to win a tourney. Maybe I still have a couple chance with these doubles tournaments, but especially for singles, I'd like to get it done. I'm so close a couple times.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So during the off season, like how are you planning on achieving like your goals of next season? Like what are you going to do this off season to improve
Yeah,
your
so
game?
for me, I always just kind of put it into focusing on one, two, max like three sings. When I go out and play a course, yeah, I'm gonna get the general of what I'm gonna do, especially in the cold or winter when my hands are a little bit colder here. It's a little bit slippery here. Certain factors like that play a part in getting better in those areas of the game. But specifically this off season, just improving. I really want to hit increased range on forehand and backhand, and then increasing my putting consistency as well. So when I look at my plan to do that, I kind of, especially with a froth basket, it makes it a lot easier. I always kind of commit maybe 30 minutes to an hour of like straight putting. Then if I go out into a course that week, I'm gonna work on a couple of these things. If I'm playing by myself at any course, I like to take a couple shots with a couple different discs and be like, okay, now I'm gonna approach it like this. With putting, I do same thing I kind of mentioned earlier. I'm gonna say I have to make this one and then the next one, or it doesn't count kind of deal, or I get a stroke. These ways just to put little bits of pressure on myself when I'm practicing or just playing by myself. Go a long way in just me getting that consistency that I hope to show in tournaments more in the future.
Nice. So do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I think this is super cool. When you follow me after one of those tournaments, I like looked at a lot of your videos. I saw some people, familiar faces that I've seen and played with at different tournaments. And I just want to know, like, how did you just from, like you said, you even started at the same time as me, and now you're in a role where a lot of people know you in the community. I like to see how you wanted to do a disc golf podcast and how that's helped maybe your development in the froth area with your game, but also just the personal relationships that you need to.
Yeah, deciding to do this was actually pretty like big for me, and this definitely helped me out because I've always wanted to like kind of be put a name out there in the disc golf community for myself. And I thought like I always put this pressure on myself to play like insanely good, so people be like, "Oh man, that's Josh. He's so good." And it just honestly wasn't going that well for me. So I'm just kind of like an average guy out there. I always thought that maybe I'd be like a pro guy, just starting straight
Mhm.
from like right from the get go, just be a pro guy. But it doesn't work that way apparently. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I came up with this idea of doing this show where instead of it being focused on me, I can actually bring other people on and let them share their journey because disc golf is more important than you as like an individual, but it's more important to have like the community come together and people to share their stories. So that's what this whole show is about. It's just bring guests on, give them an opportunity to share their stories and their journey.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. It's similar. Again, I always relate stuff back to basketball. Whether it's me going out and shooting a couple of jumpers at a park, now me practicing or going out to play by myself. It's something I can always do. Like if I'm a little bit stressed, have some stuff going on in my personal life, I can just go out on the course, go out to a court, get shots up, play a little froth, and some of those problems go away. So another thing, that's why I like this game. I like the people in it. I say there's one time at Bond Lake I met a frother or a group of frothers I did not like, but other than that, one story that was a little crazy. Other than that, all the people I've met have been really cool and opening, and always like to talk the game with me. So also the Lions, I think, are about to score, which
Oh,
is good
sweet.
for any anti-Chiefs. It's like third and goal.
Yeah.
I'm
Bills
hoping.
Mafia fans, we're all anti Chiefs.
I'm a big Bills guy. So
Yep.
with my profession, I worked with them like 3 years ago. I did an internship with them. I'm an athletic trainer, so I work with a lot of they're like medical people. So that's kind of also why I like sports and science and everything in general. Some of the stuff I have when I bring the froth course, I have like little things to tape in case like I cut. I always get this cut like on my middle finger when I hold my mid range is too tight. Things like that. I always keep in my bag. It relates back to that. But.
So now that you were talking about personal training, is there like any type of way to like start like a company, like just be on course, like a like you know how like at sports they have like trainers right on like the sidelines and stuff. Is it like possible or even a demand to have trainers like at a disc golf like tournament?
I think that's something with the development of frisbee golf and how we keep seeing MPO getting bigger and bigger and all these events getting bigger and bigger and just social media and everything that goes like that. I could definitely see athletic trainers, physical therapists being there more just like how you see in colleges or teams or anything like that. They get followed in pro sports, college sports, any type of sport nowadays seems like. I know that for me personally, I always have my set of things I like to do to warm up, like my shoulders, my hips, certain things, and especially my job, which is I get contracted in the industrial setting to different warehouses to help.
Hmm.
I know our California operation, my company's called the Industrial Athlete. In California, they get like a van to drive around and like kind of just go house to house or patient to patient with people. That'd be really cool. Like this past tournament that we did at Ellicott, like a couple of those guys with the sprinter vans. I had
Yep.
just come back from Oregon and I had just been living in a sprinter van for a week. So I talked to them. I'm like, yo, I just live in a sprinter van. I picked their brain. But imagine a guy like that comes, but they have all the medical stuff. And they're like, oh, if anything ever happens to anybody, we got you. We're here. Especially
Yeah.
at the bigger events. I don't expect some like rando doubles thing. No. But like some of these bigger events, the point series, the big things that you guys do, I could definitely see that as it keeps developing. So,
Yeah.
And the Lions did just score. So
Yes.
7-0, good for them. Screw the Chiefs.
Yeah. So like is there like any chance that you would ever be open to teaching players how to actually properly warm up? Because I see all the time guys literally just hop out of the course. I mean, hop out of their car and just go right on course, and then within the first couple holes, they're like, "Oh man, my shoulder hurts." So,
Right. So for me, like I'm 26, just turned 26 in August. And with basketball, right? I've been playing basketball since I was like 10 years old. That has a wear and tear on your knees after playing for about, I hit like 24 and I started to feel it. I know I couldn't just warm up or jump out of the car in cold weather and go play for 2, 3 hours on end anymore. So similar to that, I always like to warm up whether I'm working out, I'm playing basketball, I'm playing frisbee golf, especially certain things like your rotator cuff muscles, muscles that maybe you don't even think you work out during frisbee golf, like your hip flexors and your glutes, and certain muscles around your back and your hip area that really get incorporated during prof that. I know I'm not perfect. I've pulled these muscles before. I've hurt my back before. I've hurt certain muscles before. Everyone playing prof, forehand. I think forehanders get injured more. A lot of my friends that are forehand, oh, my elbow hurts, or oh, my
Yeah.
shoulder. I'm like, bro, I'm a backhand. My arm doesn't hurt as much. Granted, I do warm up and stuff, and I'm on top of it. I feel like backhand, I don't get hurt as much. But then I get my back because I'm putting so much torque in. So you live and you learn on the areas of your body where you're probably hurting more. But yeah, I'm a type of person with my friends. I'm like, if you ever need anything, ask me tips. I might not say it all the time. I keep to myself sometimes. I'm a pretty tone person unless I really know you or it's my family.
Yeah.
But I'm always down to talk or ask stuff or be there for someone if they need it for sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely need some tips on warming up because I'm still
Sure.
trying to figure it out. And most of the tournaments I go into, I feel like it takes me about like 5 or 6 holes to really get going. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I maybe didn't do it right.
Yeah, right. Especially these next couple tournaments in October where we're gonna start in the morning. It'll probably be a little frosty, maybe. Definitely might be raining, I think, next weekend. So
Yeah,
just warming up properly, especially in those conditions. It's important.
cool. Well, that's all I got for you tonight.
Cool. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
So, where can people find? Last question: where can people find you or get a hold of you?
So if I'm ever around, I have my Instagram account, which is just kind of like my name right here. I don't do the third, but Joe Zadak number 7 is my favorite number. I don't have like a separate account or anything. Other than that, I'm not really on any other social media. But I'm always the type of person where I say, if you ever see me at a tournament, if you ever want to just come up and say hey or talk the game or talk whatever, talk sports, whatever. I'm always a pretty open person and I'm always ready to talk. So I'd say for Instagram, JoseX7. If not, if you see me at a course or an event or something, you can always feel free to come up and say hey. I try to always learn and meet card mates or people. I'm usually pretty talkative to those people, especially once I've seen you a couple of times. I'm like, okay, I've seen you a couple of times. I got to know you a little better now.
Yeah. Plus, everybody knows me just based on my throwing form. It sticks out.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely unique, but you got a swagger with it, an aura with it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, all right, cool. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see everybody next week.
Sounds good.